If you're not exactly where you want your business to be, then you have a bottleneck. When I work with entrepreneurs, my goal is to shine a spotlight on their business bottleneck and show them how to fix it. Because if you're not where you want to be right now, then of course you would fix it if you knew what was standing in your way. So today's episode is all about shining a big spotlight on your business and helping you to identify what's keeping you stuck, so that you can move forward with more ease and at a faster pace. Come join me. There is often a lot of guilt that comes with growing a business. As motivated business bosses, we often think that if we just did more, we would achieve more. We're often time poor, and so we blame lack of time for a lack of progress. But in my experience, it's not often a lack of time that is the biggest problem. Sure, it does slow us down from time to time as we only have a limited number of hours in a day, but doing more doesn't always equal bigger results, especially if what you're doing is not a needle-moving activity. And that's what we tend to gravitate towards, because being busy rather than being strategic, working in our business rather than on it, that's easier and it's far more natural. To work on our business is stretching us past our comfort zones, because we're often having to do things that just aren't things that we would normally do on autopilot. Things like packing orders, you know how to do that. Making products, you know how to do that if you're a maker too. But identifying what we strategically need to tackle next, that's not so comfortable and it's not so easy. So I'm going to help you. A bottleneck is simply something that is limiting your next level progress. I've had many bottlenecks in my business, let me tell you, and not all of them are easy to identify. When I had decided to grow a coaching business, for example, it took me way longer than it needed to release my signature program. My bottleneck at that point was actually mindset, the one thing that I thought was strong and not needing any work. I'm a resilient person. I don't get stuck in the weeds. I know what I want. So why did it take me over a year to get it? I had the skills, I had the know-how, yet my progress significantly stalled over a period of time, a whole year, and I didn't even recognize it. I didn't recognize that my mindset was the one thing holding me back. And because I didn't recognize it, I didn't put any ownership behind fixing it. So it stalled me. It is really easy to blame outside factors for not reaching your goals. This is often procrastination in disguise, right? For me, I told myself that I needed to have a website to sell my course. So there was no point in creating said course until I did. I actually didn't need a website to sell my course. I've sold it and I don't have a website. But that's what I told myself, and it kept me stuck for an entire year. Mindset is super sneaky, right? You might think you're a resilient, focused entrepreneur. I certainly thought that of myself, but mindset isn't an obvious stall. You might be doing the right things, but not doing them consistently, confidently, or clearly. That is a mindset issue. It's a mindset issue if you're second-guessing yourself, or you're avoiding something, or you're ignoring analyzing the results. So you tell yourself you're not a numbers person. You know that you should track your numbers and look at them, but you're actually not, right? That is mindset. Or perhaps you're emotionally spiraling when results are slow. That is also a mindset issue, because you're attaching it emotionally. You're not looking at the facts. Or you're resisting feedback or support. You tell yourself, I've got this, I don't need help. If this is ringing true for you, you have a mindset bottleneck, and you need to overcome this before you work on anything else, because it's going to continue to hold you back. A strong mindset is one that believes that you can take your business places. You actively seek support when you feel stuck. You're not moving things on your to-do list from one day to the next day and never actually tackling them. This is procrastination. And when we procrastinate, we often have a mindset block. We faff about and we don't actually tackle the one thing that we need to in order to move forward. And if we don't believe that our business is going to grow to where we want to take it, we don't step into that energy and grab hold of the reins and take it, right? That was me with my coaching business. I told myself that I needed a website before I recorded my course and sold it. But that was my mind making up an excuse to keep me safe. I actually had a fear that I would spend days recording this course and then no one would buy it. That was actually what was keeping me stuck. It was actually my mindset holding me back from taking messy action. If you're not taking messy action, consistent action, you likely have a mindset block and you likely don't know it. Being aware of this block is the very first step, and then taking out some time to really consider what you're telling yourself, usually unconsciously. What are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? This can take a bit of internal digging, and it's not comfortable, let me tell you. But once you understand what you're telling yourself, which often isn't facts, it's a belief that you have, then you can work through it. So for me, I engaged a coach, not because I thought I had a mindset issue. I didn't even know I had one at that point, but because I felt stuck and I wasn't moving forward. And what she did was shone a great big fat light on my mindset. And when I was able to see that it was my mindset that was holding me back, I could then tackle it. You can't tackle something that you don't see, right? And it's why having a coach is so important. If you lean into the support, then they can help you get unstuck, but you have to lean into that support. If you're feeling emotional about your business and you're avoiding things, then you have a mindset block. That's all it is. Sounds easy, right? But you need to overcome that to make progress, because it's really hard to move forward if you're emotionally resistant. And what I mean by emotionally resistant is when your mindset is holding you in a place of comfort and therefore you are standing still. It's not until you can somewhat detach from your business emotionally and start looking at the facts that you move past any mindset block. Now let's move on to bottleneck number 2. Are you attracting enough new people into your world? So once you've got past mindset, if that was a block for you, you then need to consider, how are you attracting new people? How are new people finding you? And you need to be able to measure this, right? So there's 2 parts to it. Firstly, you need to know how you're getting in front of new people. You need a strategy behind that. Secondly, you need to measure if week on week you're making progress so that you know whether you are continuing to build your visibility. Really important. If you don't reach new people weekly, your business is going to stall because you will saturate the people who already know about you. They will only buy from you for so long. And some will never, ever buy from you. In fact, it's a teeny tiny percentage of the people that know about you that will buy from you. That is a fact. So you need to have a way to get in front of new eyeballs. Whatever way you choose, it needs to get you in front of new people every single week. I personally attract people onto my email list every week. They are new to my world and they join my email list, and I have a way to measure that, right? So every single week, I'm tracking how many people have joined my email list, and I get a minimum of 75 new people on my list every week. It's often more than that. Now, if you love social media and you're actively growing your followers, your measure might be how many new people you get to follow you. If you don't have a system or have this as a priority, it's likely why your business has stalled. It's your business bottleneck. If you don't get in front of new eyeballs, your business will stall, period. Now, bottleneck number 3 is around nurturing the people who know about you, the people that you've brought into your world. And we often think that getting in front of people is enough. In fact, I see far too many business owners who put all their energy and attention into getting seen, but not nurturing those people, right? Taking someone from knowing about you to buying from you takes a bit of nurturing. It is the minority who will learn about you and buy from you from one touch point, right? To see you in their social media feed, click through to your website and buy from you, they are the minority. Yet we market in a way that we expect them to do that. You don't go on social media to buy things, nor do they, right? People need multiple touch points in order to buy, which is why I love email marketing. I'm passionate about it, right? Because I can manage those touch points through automated flows, weekly emails. I have a system to nurture them, and it doesn't involve me having to show up. Just like you need to measure attraction, you also need to measure how you nurture, right? The simplest way that I know how is by running an engagement report in my email service provider or measuring my click rate in particular. If people are clicking my emails, then they are engaged. So you have a nurture bottleneck if you are getting in front of new people, but they're not engaging with you. Maybe they're not taking action from your social media CTAs, they're not liking your posts, viewing your stories, or visiting your website. Maybe your unique selling proposition is not hitting the mark, or you're not speaking about it enough. Your messaging might be diluted. I've also had this bottleneck. Believe me, I've had all of these bottlenecks. When I first started my coaching business, I created a program called Six Figure School. What I realized months later is that I was trying to teach everything that I knew, but wasn't going deep on what I would call my superpower. My superpower is email marketing. Six Figure School went deep on email marketing because it's my superpower, but it also skimmed the surface of so many other areas. Now, you might think that that sounds beneficial, but I've seen this in coaching programs myself that I've been in. When you skim the surface of so many different areas, you don't go deep and learn and master one strategy. So what I saw my students doing was not going deep on one area. They were skimming the surface of many areas, yet I knew that they could grow their business better and faster if they just mastered email marketing, because I could teach them how to get seen, how to nurture, and how to convert through this one powerful strategy. So my messaging is changing, right? I'm starting to attract people who want to learn email marketing and to master it. And how I nurture people now who come into my world has shifted. Yes, I still know lots of things about lots of different areas in e-commerce, and I still teach those things outside of email marketing inside my program. But my core program, which is now Send and Scale, is about mastering email marketing in its entirety. So you often have a nurture problem if your messaging is not clear. You're likely trying to market to everyone, which means you're marketing to no one. And this is where niching becomes really important, being really clear on your target audience. Because when you're clear, you will naturally nurture them because your messaging becomes targeted to them and only them. You remove the noise and it helps you to identify your future buyers. So I want you to consider how you are measuring your ability to nurture. Are you getting views but little engagement? Are you getting people onto your email list but then they're not engaging? Are you removing objections, building trust, telling stories, highlighting your unique selling proposition? Or are you like every other business out there that sells what you sell? If you feel like you don't have any connection with the people that are finding you, the people that enter your world, then you likely have a nurture bottleneck. The next bottleneck is conversion. So you're getting in front of new people, they're engaging with you, but they're just not buying. Now, there's a couple of things here that could be playing out. You may not be giving them a reason to buy, or you may not have enough people to consistently convert. So let's break this down. I know that you're in a competitive space. Every single one of you, whether you have competitors or not, your product might be extremely unique. You are still in a competitive market, right? Because you are competing for your customers' money. They can choose what to spend their funds on, your brand or someone else's. I often see this bottleneck when businesses don't give people a reason to buy. This may be an offer. It may or may not be a discount. It doesn't have to be, right? Discounts help for sure, but not for every single brand. High-end brands often don't need to give discounts because their target audience doesn't really care about them. But they still need to give a reason to buy. And there are 3 factors that help with this: exclusivity, urgency, and scarcity. So exclusivity is highlighting that this is not available for everyone. Urgency is placing urgency on the need to purchase now. I'll give you an example shortly. And scarcity is again putting urgency on having to purchase now or they miss out. So let me give you an example that incorporates all of these. You send an email to your list, letting them know that for the next 24 hours, as your valued subscribers, they will get a gift with purchase if they make an order, and it's valid for the first 5 orders only. Let me break this down. So exclusivity, this is only available to your subscribers. You're not allowing this for the general public. You're not posting this on socials. It's for subscribers only. Urgency, you've got 24 hours to take action. There's a time frame. And scarcity, it's only available to the first 5 people. This is what I mean by giving them a reason to buy. Now, there are many, many, many ways to do this. And as I say, it doesn't always have to be a discount. If you can get exclusivity, urgency, and scarcity into the offer, you are far more likely to convert them. Now, you don't need all 3 in your offer. I've given you, quite a detailed example. But having all 3 will help you more. The more that you have, the more likely you are to convert. Now, there is a big if here, right? It comes down to numbers. So you may be giving them a reason to buy, but they're still not buying. Take a look at how many people are considering that offer. So if you're sending an email, how many people opened the email? Was your subject line clear? And then how many people clicked through to your website? So let's say that you sent it to 1,000 people on your email list, 500 opened your email, and 2 people clicked your email. I would say that you have a nurture problem here. You got in front of enough people, but your click rate is super, super low. And if you have a conversion rate of, say, 1%, which is typical for an e-com brand, between 1% and 3% is perfectly normal. That means that you need 100 people to click through to your website to make 1 sale. And you only got 2 people, right? So then you need to work on nurture, and you also need to work on your numbers. So you need to get your click rate up, right? So what if you sent it to 1,000 people, 500 people opened your email, and 50 people clicked your email? If your conversion rate is 1%, then your list may still not be big enough to make consistent sales. If your conversion rate was 2%, then 50 people would be enough to make a sale. Can you see how this is just a big numbers game? So when you're considering if conversion is your bottleneck, you need to look at it from a couple of angles, right? Are you giving people a reason to buy? And have you attracted enough people to make conversion easier? You need both, right? So we've covered the 4 key bottlenecks that at some point in your journey, you will encounter each of them: mindset, attraction, nurture, and convert. Your bottleneck isn't just a strategy, it's a sequence. Each stage builds on the one before. And if you're missing mindset, you're not going to show up properly to attract. If you skip attract, you'll have no one to nurture. And if you don't nurture, your audience won't be ready to convert. So if everything feels like it's not working, you need to start right at the very top. Mindset first and then build from there. You then need to consider, is this a strategy issue or do I just need more time? If you're consistently taking small, messy action, you're attracting new people, you're nurturing regularly, and you're just not seeing the conversion happen yet, then maybe you just need more time. Results don't happen overnight, and they only happen if you're consistent. It's why it feels so hard, right? It feels hard because the majority don't succeed at this game. It's hard because most people don't give it the time needed. And in order to win this e-commerce game, you need to be consistent. If you can honestly answer yes to being consistent, working through each of these customer touch points, measuring them and looking to improve each stage, and you've been doing this for a number of months and you're still not seeing results, then you likely have a strategy issue or a numbers issue. In most cases, I see this as a numbers issue. If you can confidently tick off each of those focus areas that you're actively working on them and you're making progress, so you're measuring how many people you're getting in front of, you're measuring how many people are getting to your website and how many people are converting. If these numbers are increasing and moving in the right direction, but you're still not seeing consistent sales, then you likely have a good strategy, but it's going to take time. You likely don't have the volume yet, right? You don't have enough new people coming in at the top to filter down to the bottom. It is like a funnel, right? To see the output of the funnel you've set up, you need volume. If, however, you don't know how to measure each of those customer touch points, you don't have a strategy that strengthens and works on each of those areas, then you likely have a strategy issue. You actually don't know how to fix it. Either way, knowing this helps you fix it, right? If you know that you're making progress with each of these, you're consistently measuring them, you're moving in the right direction, you're attracting more people, you're getting more people to your website, then the sales will eventually come. But if you don't know what lever to pull or what to measure to know that you're making progress, then you've got a strategy gap, right? Let's wrap this one up. If your business isn't where you want it to be yet, chances are that you have got a bottleneck. And now you know the 4 biggies to look for, right? Mindset, attraction, nurture, and conversion. Mindset is always first. If you're not showing up confidently, consistently, and clearly, everything else is going to feel like a slog and you're not going to move forward. Attraction is next. You need to be getting in front of new people every single week. Not just creating content, but measuring how many new eyeballs are actually seeing it. Then we move on to nurture, which is all about what happens once people know about you. Are they engaging? Are they connecting with your brand? Are they being warmed up to buy? And then right at the bottom of our funnel is conversion. This is the final step. Are you giving them a reason to buy? Are your numbers stacking up? Because sometimes it is just a numbers game. If everything feels like it's not working right now, go back to mindset and then build on from there. So I'm going to give you some homework this week. Grab a piece of paper or grab your phone, grab your notes app on your phone and answer these questions. Which of the 4 bottlenecks is showing up in your business right now? How are you currently measuring your progress in each of these areas? Mindset is hard to measure your progress, but how are you feeling? What is the one thing you can try or tweak this week to improve it? And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't actually know what my bottleneck is, or I don't even know what numbers I should be looking at, then maybe it's time that we had a chat. I would like to invite you to book a free roadmap call with me. I will help you pinpoint your biggest bottleneck and give you a personalized plan to shift the needle in your business. You can book that call by clicking the link in the show notes right in the description where you're listening to this. I will give you my honest insights and next steps to help move you forward. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. As always, if this episode helped you, I would love to hear from you. Drop into my DMs. You'll mainly see me on Instagram at Chontelle Fossey, and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Or do me a big favor and share this to your stories so that other Biz Boss friends can benefit too. Don't forget to tag me. Catch you all next week.